Hi, Jen Gilchrist here, host of your group here in the Soul Inspired Leaders Collective. Super excited to be here on 4th of July. I hope you all are enjoying your day, have some family plans for here in the United States at least. And today's topic is all about how to live your purpose. This is a question I get a lot, and it's a question that I had a lot too, especially in the beginning of my spiritual path, right? I've been self-employed my whole life, but there was a point where I had hit my rock bottom in my life, in my business. Everything was just kind of going haywire. And when I came through that spiritual awakening, everything that used to work for me or used to be aligned for me, different, groups of friends, things that interested me, what fulfilled me, what brought me joy, began to change. And so there was this period of time where my old life, for the most part, wasn't working for me anymore. But yeah, I wasn't really sure what that new life was. And so that is why I started looking towards the idea of, well, what is my purpose? I started feeling this deep desire for discovering more purpose in my life and feeling more purpose and fulfillment in my life. So let me know whether you're live or on the replay if you can relate with that as well, because I know it was definitely on my mind. I think I had this idea that it's like, I got to figure out my purpose. When I first got into realizing I kind of knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to help others that felt like me. I wanted to help others through their spiritual awakenings and really open up to their intuition and feel powerful in their relationships and powerful in their life and learn to consciously create their experience, right? Like these are things that I was so excited about and lit up about when I first started my journey and still am, right? It's still a part of what I do. I didn't know how to make that exactly a business. And I was seeking this idea of like, well, I got to figure out what my purpose is exactly before I can really do it. And that's really sort of a backwards way of looking at it. So today I just want to address this idea of, how my perspective is, at least on how to align and embody and express your purpose in your life and in your business. Because I believe there is definitely, I'm going to pull up my notes because I don't want to forget anything. It's not like just a one idea thing. It's not like you just figure it out and then you never have to learn anything again, right? It's like, it's sort of an evolving process. So first, let's just talk about in general. My idea or my definition sort of living your purpose. It's really a merging of the mind, body, and spirit, right? It's learning how to embody yourself. It's learning how to express your true self. And it definitely sounds easier said than done, right? At the very, very core, I believe each of our purposes is to really, truly align, embody, and express our true divinity, right? Whether it's through our life, through our relationships, through our business. And a lot of people that are drawn to me are definitely about, creating purpose-driven businesses that actually fuel their soul and help others at the same time. And so this is just a simplistic way of really realizing it. Like the more that you honor the truth of who you are and take care of yourself and really truly get to what it is you desire, truly get to honor and live your life in that way, as opposed to seeking outward validation from others, you will begin to align more and more with your highest path and purpose, right? And so if you look at it from this perspective of aligning, right? Aligning, so getting clear on what is fulfilling to you, who are you, how is it that you want to live your life, down to like how you want to experience each day, how you want your relationships to be, how much money you want to make. All of these things are a part of your true desires, right? It may not be about the money. It's always like, what does that money represent for the most part? It's like, for me, money might represent freedom to go and do and experience things with my family or support causes that are important to me, right? So the more I get honest with these true soul's desires, as opposed to the, just the mind's idea of what I think I should want or what I think my parents want for me or what, giving up what I want for a relationship, right? I did that a lot. It's learning how to really tune in and honor what it is you truly desire. So that's one aspect, right? And the other aspect is just reminding yourself that you're always growing and evolving, and so your desires and your expression are going to grow and evolve as well. Especially, I think in all areas, but with our businesses, we really need to, it's not like we lock onto one idea and now we've solved the puzzle. We are going to constantly need to be checking in with, what wants to be expressed through me now, and is this still working for me, or has something shifted and therefore now my business model needs to shift, or now my, how I spend my days, I want to look differently. So that's all just something that's like a constant evolution of our journeys, right? And the more connected and tuned into ourselves regularly, the more that we get to kind of tune it, like check in. It's like having a sounding board. Is this really truly what I desire now? Is this really what I want to be doing with my time? Is this really how I want to express myself in the world? Is this really how I want to serve? Those kinds of questions. I definitely love working in the Akashic Records. I was certified in a very specific type of training where we look at everyone's got unique soul gifts, right? Everyone's got unique inherent soul gifts. And so when we learn even more about that and how to access them for ourselves and express them in our life and our business, then that's also a way that abundance is going to show up, a way fulfillment and joy and ease and flow and all of those beautiful things are going to be there. Because again, that's teaching you how to align and embody and express that divinity self through your life experience. What else did I want to say? So if I look at, so it's really, so how I said in the beginning, it's an aspect of your mind, body, and spirit, right? So if there's, right now I'm not seeing comments, but if you have questions or comments along the way, I'd love to hear them, how this is resonating, or ahas or questions, and I'll be sure to answer them. If they don't show up in the live feed, because sometimes they don't, then I will answer them after the fact as well. And I know a lot of people are off in the United States, at least for 4th of July, so you might catch this on the replay, which is perfect. So if we're looking at the body, I'm going to give you a few tips and ways that you can really begin to just tune into this. This is really a daily practice. A lot of you that have been following me, you probably hear me talk about the morning routine, or, it doesn't have to be in the morning. I like it in the morning. Doing my meditation and journaling practice is one way that I keep myself centered, keep myself honest with myself, keep myself just open, right? So really noticing your morning routine and like how you're treating your body. So it's important to take excellent care of your body, right? Because that's how your body and your spirit, your body and your soul and your spiritual energy gets to communicate with one another, right? And that starts to become where you're unlocking your intuition and living life from that intuitive inner guidance system that we all have. And the more that I practice that morning routine with consistency, the more that my intuition opens up, the more that I'm self-aware of where my mindset and my limiting beliefs are stopping me, or my fears, the more I become aware of patterns, karmic patterns within my family about, perhaps pleasing others or doing things out of fear or not doing things out of fear versus really truly aligning with myself. Right, and expressing myself. Sometimes I think it's unconscious that we all at times tend to make our decisions out of wanting to appease another person, or wanting to have their love, or wanting to have somebody's acceptance, or wanting to not receive judgment. And all of those ways are us kind of like betraying ourselves in a sense, right? And the truth is, when we are honoring of ourselves, we're actually honoring to everyone in our relationships as well, whether they see it that way or not, right? Because most of the world, we all have our stuff to work through. But it's important that we start to really honor our boundaries with other people. I have some notes. I want to make sure I can look at them as well to make sure. So just honoring your boundaries, right, of your time, of how you are treated. We determine how the world treats us based on how we choose to allow ourselves to be treated. And so sometimes we have to check ourselves and be aware of if we're not feeling rich, and we're not feeling respected, or we're not feeling full of life in a relationship or in a job or in an experience. We have to question ourselves a little bit as to, well, where am I giving up myself out of fear, or out of fear to be loved or accepted, or whatever that might be, right? So really just checking in with that daily. And that's where that quiet time, that meditation time really, really, really helps you quiet down the noise and quiet down the mind chatter so that you can really, really tune into your heart's desires and the voice of your soul. So that's one aspect. And then really doing the deeper healing work, right? The mindset work. So that's an aspect that as we become more aware, right? The more better care we take care of our body, filling it up with self-care and self-love and all these things kind of opens up our ability to connect and embody our spirit even more fully. Then we start to have more awarenesses of where we are holding ourselves back and where we are limiting ourselves in a way. And so once we become aware, that's the first step, but we need to be able to have the courage and the desire, the motivation, the tenacity, the persistence to move through that, right? To not just be aware of it. That's the first step, but sometimes it might require a little bit deeper healing work, could require the support of another person. You could do it perhaps in your journaling or meditation style work. I teach that a lot, how to work through your own resistance and stuff like that through journaling and meditation as well. So there's many ways to do it, but the idea is to keep continuing to do the deeper work so you can be even more aligned with yourself. The next thing is around your spiritual self, right? So it's about how do you um, start to really utilize and trust your intuition, living your life from that intuitive place, not always listening only to the logic, right? I think we do need all parts of ourselves, but if we're driven from that intuitive guidance, we're going to have a fast track to success, and we're going to be more aligned, because very often our mind wants to justify something. Like we get an intuitive hint to do something and it may not make sense. We're immediately, you know, shut down the idea or try to rationalize and not make sense of it, so therefore not take action on it, right? But really, the more that I've started to really lean into spending the time, energy, and money of focusing on opening my intuition and my intuitive abilities, and practicing tuning in, and then taking the steps on that, on those actions, the more you get validated and to see how the unfolding will occur, right? This is how you get into synchronicity, how you get into flow, is by tuning into that inner guidance, opening up to your spiritual support team. As well, I love working with my angels, or guides of all kinds. Nature is a wonderful teacher as well, crystals. So you can, there's so much different spiritual support that you can open up to helping you, and helping you, to really tune in even more fully to yourself and to the guidance steps that you can use. And so when you start to take action from that intuitive place, from that soul aligned place, things will become much easier. You'll kind of like be able to skip steps much faster, and you'll find that you will feel more happy too, right? It's really fun when you can sort of validate that, oh wow, I really do create my own experience, whether I like it or not. Which brings me to another point. It's like when we notice that we're experiencing something we don't like, then that is a time for inner reflection. Something's kind of amiss. Something we're trying to show ourselves in some way through that not feeling well. That's another intuitive gift that we have, that something is wrong. And so doing that investigative work sooner than later, you're going to find yourself not having to go so far down a dark path, or so far down into depression or suffering, right? We get to choose how long we suffer. And so the quicker that we surrender into, wow, I'm not feeling that great right now. I wonder what's going on, what's trying to be shown to me, what would feel better, what is my soul trying to share with me, or what is this ache in my body trying to tell me that I have been ignoring. That's when you start to take the reins and the power back. Hey, Jamie, thanks for joining. And thanks for the hearts, you guys. And that's when you really get to start to take the reins of the power back, right? Is by accepting that we're creating all parts of things, and then really recognizing and honoring that when we are not feeling well. Hey, Joy. Yes, I would love to connect again soon. Thank you so much. I've been seeing your Facebook Lives too. You're doing awesome work out there in the world. So that is sort of around the spirit, so the mind, body, spirit support. Now, all of that, I believe, is the most important foundational piece. Hey, Janya. In terms of, the truth of aligning your divinity. So for those that are hopping on, in a brief sentence, my definition is that you're aligning, embodying, and expressing your divinity through your work, through your relationships, and through your life. That is your purpose, right? Our purpose is to express the truth of who we are. And while that sounds simple, sometimes it's not, right? And so I kind of went over some tips you may want to go back and listen to already. But I'm going to take it a step further into your business. So one last tip I'm going to give around this is to look at when it's your business, you want to really make sure that all parts are working for you. So one thing you can do is look at, the shoulds. Is there a whole bunch of things you think you should do that you don't enjoy doing? Well, that's something to look at, because that energy is not very magnetic. Something's amiss, right? There's so many different ways to create your business model or to express your gifts that the traditional ways aren't working as well for everybody anymore, especially those that are on more of a spiritual path. And so really acknowledging that stuff, like acknowledging when there are things that you are dreading, and seeing how you can tune into that in a way, or really maybe get a perspective shift or shift how it's working in order to enjoy it more. And the other thing is, so you can also make a list of your passions. Looking at your purpose work will probably, I find, help to find some clarity by looking at your passions. What is it that you take a stand for? What is it that just lights up your soul? What are you so excited that you could talk about for free to people? Not promoting that you talk about it for free forever, right? But what is it that you just love so much that you could just do? If money was not needed on this planet, what would you be doing, right? That's going to be a way that you can incorporate that into your purpose purpose work, right? Looking at your experience, like your actual training, your previous jobs, everything has been preparing you for this moment of your business, right? Even, being a mom gives you lots of skills. When I look back at my, even when I bartended when I was in my early 20s, it's like that gave me some people skills that taught me boundaries, that taught me to have my voice. So you start to pull out all of your experiences from your life, from your relationships, right? And you can also look at, what is your hero's journey? Like, what was your dark night of the soul moment? This may be not true 100% for everybody, but for, I would say, most of the people that are following me, you have hit a point where you had a low, and when you woke up and rose on the other side of that, you have a heart's desire to help other people move through that same experience without as much suffering, right? And so your hero's journey and really your experience of your dark night of the soul can be a part of that. And we all have many different versions, right? And so this is where you just get to see what lights you up the most and what makes your heart sing, and what is it that you would tell your family members. If you could just wish a miracle to your family or your loved ones, what would it be that they could just have this awareness and understanding about? Right? These are all ways to start to really have pointers in the direction of how you want to build your business from, right? And the last thing, of course, well, not the end all be all, but one of the last things I'm going to share today is just really what your inherent soul gifts are, right? There's just some things sometimes that we all have specialties. Think about what is it that your best friends come to you for? What is it that people are always telling you that you're good at, or even asking some of your closer friends or relatives? Because a lot of times our inherent spiritual and soul gifts are things that are so natural to us that we almost don't even think that it's something to be paid for, but it's part of how you do it. And part of one of mine, for instance, it's not as tangible, but it's very powerful, is being able to see where people are at, see their blind spots and where they're stuck, and hold that vision for them of their higher truth so that they can rise up into that space for themselves, so they can see it for themselves, right? And so that's something that makes my work very transformational. And we all have our own inherent soul gifts within us as well, with our experiences and in how we help others. And sometimes those ones are the ones that we discount the most, but they're also can be the most powerful. And so those are some ways that I thought I'd just help you really look at, what is your purpose? How is living your purpose? How does that express into the different areas of your life, of your business, and of your relationship? So let me know if you guys have any questions on any of this. And if I'm not seeing all of the comments, then I'll definitely check back later, or for those on the replay as well. And if for those of you that need some more support with deeper purpose-driven foundation business building, reach out to me. I have a Soul Inspired Leaders digital program. It was something I ran as a mastermind live, but now is available as digital course. And there's everything from branding to marketing to your what do you do statement to your hero's journey story, how to share it in a way. So it's very tangible, where we look at the energetic, the soul, and the tangible, practical pieces of foundationally aligning your business with that higher soul's purpose and your spiritual gifts, so that you can shine and really support and serve the world on a high level. So that is available at on a digital course very, very reasonably right now. So you can always give me reach out if you have any questions about that. I'd be happy to share more. And I would love to hear what topic ideas you guys have. On Wednesdays in here, you can mark your calendar at 12:30 Pacific time. I'm planning to do a training that's based on questions that you have, or questions that I've received a lot of in the past. And so I'd love to hear, what are some of your questions or topics that you would love to know more about from me, and I'll be happy to consider that for some of these live trainings. So I hope that this was beneficial for you. Thank you for letting me share with you all, and I look forward to talking with you again soon. Bye.